Have a good day. candidates, distinguished agents, members of the Nigerian Bar Association, ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is my honor and privilege on behalf of the Electoral Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association to welcome you to this event to announce the results of the just concluded election of national officers of the Nigerian Bar Association and MBA representatives in the General Council of the Bar for 2022. Representing the committee here, I have to my extreme right, Mr. Basil Udotai. To my immediate right, the secretary of the committee, Mrs. Mabel Ekeke. On my immediate left, I have Hajia Adu Abdullahi, Aisha Adu Abdullahi. And my extreme left, I have Professor Chidi Odinkalo. We welcome you all to this meeting. I want to apologize for those joining us online that we are starting late, and also apologize to you for starting late. So we'll go straight to the business of the day, which is the announcement of the results. I will take you through some slides to give you a background of the results before the announcement. I also would like to let you know that the results have been collated and they have been certified. And we have a certificate from the election voting platform, election body on the results of the election. So I will start with highlights, and I will please ask the technical team to share my screen, my slides. Okay, these are the highlights of the elections. A total of 59,392 records received. Those are the people on the final voters register. We were able to upload 59,388 records. 4 records had clearly invalid contact information, so we could not upload them. The election opened at 12 a.m. on Saturday, July 16, 2022. Voting links were pushed at 12 a.m. and all sent out at 12:04 a.m. 1,346 bounced email notices occurred. That is 2.27% of the total email sent out. There was also email blast to all at 6 a.m. We sent out reminders at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., 9 p.m., and 11 p.m. Essentially, those reminders were to encourage voters who are yet to vote to open their ballots and vote. A total of 34,809 votes were cast. That is 58.61% of the total eligible voters. 1,348 ballots opened but were not cast. That is 2.27% of the total. As you all know, we had a support desk, help desk, and the most common complaints that we received or that occurred were people not entering their SCN as instructed, because you are not required to type the alphabet SCN. All you needed to do was type your number. And a lot of people were making that mistake, but eventually that was corrected. Then they had wrong, invalid contact information. People still turned on their DND, so they were asked to turn it off. We had 9,000 of such complaints. People complained that their names were not on the list of eligible voters, and anybody whose name was not there could not have voted. Some also complained that they did not receive voting links, but we all know that they eventually received the voting links, and those who were clicking on the reminders were directed to the main voting link that they received to enable them vote. So, and like I said, there were multiple email reminders, and some of them were confused when they saw those reminders, thinking that they were either getting additional voting links or etc. But they were all reminders for the purpose of ensuring that people exercise their franchise. So, with respect to email support, we received 2,139 emails, 1,569 unique messages, 1,746 replies were sent, 1,964 calls, 1,534 calls IVR only, 891 unique callers, 1,240 contacts helped by email, 430 contacts helped by phone. So the website www.go.ecnba.ng received a total of 12,000 users who clicked on the website. We had 135,000. We had from USA, Australia, United Kingdom visiting that website. So with respect to the video animation viewership, we had 2,802 views. So the election opened at 12 a.m. 16th and closed at 11:59 p.m. This was the voting pattern over that period of time. When the election opened, within the first hour of elections, we had 3,037 ballots were cast. Within the next hour again, we had 4,300 24 ballots were cast. So you will just, as you look down that screen, you will see the peak periods when votes were being cast, where you will see that within an hour, 3,000 and 3,000 at 11, you see about 3,183 votes were cast. The next slide is actually a slide showing the ballots cast and hours of the day. So you see that when the ballots opened at 12 a.m., there was a surge in the people who were casting their ballots. So as we went into the mid morning, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., the traffic reduced. Then when people started waking up again, 5, 6, 7, 8, it went up. And you see that around 11, 12, that was the highest, where we had the highest surge of voters. And then you will see the trajectory up till when voting closed. So this graph reflects the cumulative ballots over the period of time. And then at 11:59, the election opened. So I would now proceed to announce the results of the elections. And I'll please ask that the screen showing the last page when the ballots, when the election closed, should be shared. Not this one. So we will start from the ECNBA representatives. We start from the ECNBA representatives to the General Council of the Bar, Western Zone. I think I'll just give a bit of background to the ECNBA representatives. As you all know, the Constitution provides for 20 ECNBA representatives to the General Council of the Bar, 6 from the 3 zones, 6 from the Western, 6 from the Eastern, and 6 from the Northern. We had a total of 6 candidates qualified from the Western zone. And these are their results. They all scored 34,809 votes. They were Agbaga Dennis Ejakuwere, Aipoko Martins John Obaika. Please forgive me. It's not my intention to murder anybody's name. Akitayo John Oluwole Akinbiyi, Edun Olukunle Ohenevo. Then Lagbamwe Israel Solomon and Oladapo Olalekan Idowu. They all scored 34,809 votes. So they all qualified for the office or as representatives, ECNBA representatives to the General Council of the Bar for the Western Zone. So they are all returned by this electoral committee as ECNBA representatives to the General Council of the Bar for the Western Zone. Please clap for all of them. So I now go to MBA representatives to the General Council of the Bar Eastern Zone. The candidates were Agi and Uru Egi, and she polled 29,582 votes. And Agor Raphael Nnamdi, 31,104 votes. Anizuba Obi Lawrence, 31,694 votes. Unduka Rafulu Chuku Ernest, 32,271 votes. Nwaize Nebuka Onyebuchi, 31,382 votes. Okun Kalu Dave Undara, 27,065 votes. And Onwere Victor Chinoye, 25,756 votes. 6 of these candidates automatically qualify as MBA representatives to the General Council of the Bar, and they are Anne Agi Uruegi, Anago Raphael Nnamdi, Anizuba Obi Lawrence, Unduka Ralph Ernest, Nwaize Ebuka Onyebuchi, Okun Kalu Dave Ndara, and they are returned as MBA representatives of the General Council of the Bar for the Eastern Zone. The 7th person, Onwere Victor Chinoye, who scored 25,756 votes, is also returned as an MBA representative to the General Council of the Bar for the Eastern Zone as the best loser from that zone. Like I was explaining to you, there are 20 representatives. When we select 6 from each of the zones, there are 2 vacancies left. And under our Publicity Secretary. The office was contested for by Ajiboye Charles Olawale, who polled 17,811 votes, 57.1% of the votes cast, and Nwoye Akachukwu Anthony, who polled 13,360 votes, 42.9% of the votes cast. Under this category, 31,171 votes were cast, and there were 3,638 abstentions. After collation and verification, Ajiboye Charles Olawale won the votes by 57.1% of the votes cast, a total of 17,811 votes, and is hereby returned as the Assistant Publicity Secretary-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. Congratulations. The next office is that of Publicity Secretary. It was contested for by Emugware Ogaga J, who polled 15,369 votes, 46.5% of the votes cast, and Lawal Akurede Habib, who polled 17,650 votes, 53.5% of the votes cast. In this category, 33,019 votes were cast, and there were 1,790 abstentions. Lawal Akurede Habib won the election for this position with 53.5% of the votes, a total of 17,650 votes, and is hereby returned as the Publicity Secretary-elect. The next position is that of Welfare Secretary. It was contested for by Adaramola Bemiga, who polled 6,599 votes, 20.4% of the votes cast. Anekwena Ben Churchill, who polled 2,258 votes, 7.0%. Auta Nyada, who polled 9,890 votes, 30.6%. Obasi Chinere Gladys, who polled 10,452 votes, 32.4%. And Ugwoke Ikechukwu Maximus, who polled 3,072 votes, 9.5% of the votes cast. A total of 32,200 votes were cast in this for this position, with 2,538 abstentions. Obazi Chinyere Gladys won the election for this position with 32.4% of the votes cast by polling 10,452 votes. Obazi Chinyere Gladys hereby returned as the Welfare Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. Next position is that of treasurer. It was contested for by Adeogun Fumilola Oluwatosin, who polled 11,763 votes, 36.6% of the votes. Anze Bishop Caroline Ladidi, who polled 12,012 votes, 37.4%. Balarabe Safia Iweyi, who polled 8,321 votes, 25.9% of the votes cast. In this category, 32,096 votes were cast, and there were 2,713 abstentions. Anze Bishop Caroline Ladidi won the election for this office of treasurer with 37.4% of the votes, a total 12,012 votes. Anze Bishop Caroline Ladidi is hereby returned as the treasurer of the Nigerian Bar Association. The next office is that of Assistant General Secretary. It was contested for by Aka Oluwaseun, who polled 5,609 votes, 17.7%. Balogun Dihukrula Adewale, 7,683 votes, 24.2%. Kip Daniel Kaayi, 10,071 votes, 31.7%. And Usimi Peremene Anthony, 8,375 votes, 26.4% of the votes cast. There were a total of 31,738 votes cast with 3,071 abstentions. Kip Daniel Kaayi won the election for this position with 31.7% of the votes, being 10,071 votes. Kip Daniel Kaayi is hereby returned as the Assistant General Secretary-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. For the position of General Secretary, it was contested for by Adegbite Adeshina, who polled 18,536 votes, 56.2% of the votes cast. Asenogwan Osamuede Isobomuwa, who polled 3,997 votes, 12.1%. Ogiegbae Callistus Benson, 1,931 votes, 5.9%. Yama Desmond, 8,502 votes, 25.8%. In this category, 32,966 votes were cast with 1,843 abstentions. Adegbite Adeshina won the election for this office with 56.2% of the votes cast, a total of 18,536 votes. Adegbite Adeshina is hereby returned as the General Secretary-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. The next office is that of the third Vice President. It was contested for by Asagba Justina Ego Amanda. She polled 19,602 votes, a total of 64.6% of the votes cast. Ogba Isaac Omuta, who polled 10,763 votes, a total of 35.4% of the votes cast. In this category, the total votes were 30,365 votes with 4,444 abstentions. Asagba Justina Ego Amanda emerged the winner for the election of third vice president with 64.6% of the votes cast, totaling 19,602 votes. Agba Justina Ego Amanda is hereby returned as the third vice president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. As I was making that announcement, our president, Mr. Olumide Akpata, came in. I recognize you, sir. The next office is that of the second vice president. It was contested for by Abonyi Gerald Ugochukwu, who polled 7,177 votes, 24.4% of the votes cast. Chukwu Emeka Clement Ugo, who polled 11,377 votes, 38.6% of the votes cast, and Nosike Damian Onwubiko, who polled 10,900 votes, 37% of the votes cast. A total of 29,454 votes were cast for this office, with 5,355 abstentions. Chukwu Emeka Clement Ugo won the election for the office of second vice president with 38.6% of the votes cast, totaling 11,377 votes. Chukwu Emeka Clement Ugo is hereby returned as the second vice president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. For the position of first vice president, it was contested for by Bala Linda Rose, who polled 21,717 votes, 66.3% of the votes cast. Bawa Yakubu Sale. Bawa Yakubu Sale, who polled 6,573 votes, 20.1% of the votes cast. Liman Salihu, can we have some silence, please? Can we have some silence, please? Liman Salihu, who polled 4,471 votes, 13.6% of the votes cast. In this category, 32,761 votes were cast, and there were 2,048 abstentions. Bala Linda Rose won the election for the office of first vice president with 66.3% of the votes cast, being 21,717 votes. Bala Linda Rose is hereby returned as the first vice president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. Now to the office of president. The office of president was contested for by Gadzama Joe Kiari SAN, who polled 10,842 votes, 31.4% of the votes cast. Mikiao Yakubu Chonoko SAN, who polled 22,342 votes, 64.6% of the votes cast. Taidi Jonathan Bunu, who polled 1,380 votes, 4% of the votes cast. A total of 34,564 votes were cast for the office of President of the Nigerian Bar Association, with 245 abstentions. Mikiao Yakubu Chonoko SAN won the election with 64.6% of the votes cast. This is the most important part. Are we ready? Are you sure? Mikiao Yakubu Chonoko SAN is hereby returned as the president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. Distinguished Mr. President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olumide Akpata, the president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Mikiao Yakubu Chonoko SAN, I hereby invite you to say a few words.
Let me begin by giving glory to God Almighty for not only the privilege of life, but of being a lawyer, and for the privilege of being well to witness this entire process to this point. I return all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise to God Almighty, I would like to thank the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, President Olumide Akpata, the 30th President of the Nigerian Bar Association, with the entire ESCO of this beloved association for the purposeful, insightful, and deliberate leadership that you have provided not only to the Nigerian Bar Association, but for the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You have done us proud. You have done us proud. History will remember you for what you have done for the members of the legal profession and for this country. You have restored the voice of the Nigerian Bar Association as a critical stakeholder in the business of this nation. We thank you. No longer is it said that the Nigerian Bar Association is not relevant in the scheme of things in this nation. And that is attributable to the leadership that you have provided to this association. It is not a coincidence that the business of the elections just conducted into the national offices of the Nigerian Bar Association is being hosted in this building. It is remarkable. Only 3 days ago, this building that used to be the National Secretariat for the Nigerian Bar Association was remodeled after being abandoned for so many years to host the Institute of Continuing Legal Education and the Human Rights Institute. There is no better demonstration of the preparedness of the Nigerian Bar Association to promote, sustain, and implement the rule of law in this nation than in what the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, the 30th president of this association, has done in the remodeling of this building to host and to house these two institutes. It was Ademola Adetokunbo that said that the respect in which the bar in any country is held is the best indicator of the freedom that that country enjoys. And it means that the bar, to elicit the sort of respect that will bring about, engender the freedom of the people of that country, has to be a bar that is committed to the promotion of the rule of law. This building, therefore, is a statement to all Nigerians that the Nigerian Bar Association is committed to the promotion of the rule of law, would continue to be the voice of the downtrodden, would continue to be the voice of the oppressed, and we will never be silent over the oppression of the people of this country, because that is the responsibility that is put upon our shoulders by reason of the privilege of being members of the legal profession. So we thank you for what you have done in telling the Nigerian people that the Nigerian Bar Association has not abdicated this responsibility, and we are not prepared to abdicate this responsibility. It's a responsibility that we are aware of, is a responsibility that we acknowledge belong to the people and those of us that are privileged to be members of this profession, and is a responsibility that we are prepared to discharge to the latter. We thank you for that leadership. And in recognition of the fact that we cannot do this without respect, without dignity, the president also said, this building will house the Institute of the Continuing Legal Education. That is to empower the entirety of the body of legal profession by the quality of expertise that we would possess to also deliver our service to the nation. It brings empowerment, it brings prosperity, and only then can we discharge this function of the promotion of the rule of law with honor and integrity. These are remarkable achievements of your administration, amongst others, but these are two that are sending signals, clear signals to the people of this country that the Nigerian Bar Association is ready for its primary task of leading this country to the recovery that we desire, to the reformation that we desire in this nation, and for the repositioning that we need in this nation. And I want to say to you, sir, we that have been elected to step into these very big shoes that you have won and you are still wearing, will not let you down, will not let the members of the legal profession down, and we will not let the people of Nigeria down. We thank you for setting this foundation upon which we can only continue to build on what is being done for the benefit of the entire nation and for the members of this profession. So I thank you. On behalf of those of us that have been elected into these offices, we say a very big thank you to your administration. We say a big thank you to you in person and to those that constitute that team, that wonderful team that have brought support, courage, and comfort in the discharge of this responsibility. Mr. President, I will be remiss if I don't acknowledge the First Lady of the Nigerian Bar Association. Even though the solemnization of that wedding happened towards into the second year, well into the second year of your administration. But I'm sure certain processes had been going on before then. And if, yes, and if those processes were not successful, if Mr. President was having a no for every of the advance that he made, you know, the president wouldn't have had the comfort and the focus to deliver on this project. So even at the point of the front loading of those processes, before the matter was set down for hearing, we knew there was comfort, and Mr. President knew what the result was going to be on the day of that hearing. So we say to the First Lady of the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, a very big thank you. Very big thank you. We went into this election with others, and it is traditional in every election that someone would emerge. All of those who contested this election with me particularly, they are wonderful members of the Nigerian Bar Association. Chief J.K. Gazama, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Jonathan Gunu Chairi, immediate past General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. They all at one point or the other have contributed to the building of this structure that we have as the Nigerian Bar Association. We recognize their contributions, and we say to them also congratulations, because their participation in this context only brought the best out of us. And we are saying that the opportunity and the privilege that we have is not without respect to what they have done. We are simply people that are privileged by God to add a few building blocks on the contributions that they have made previously in order to continue to move our association forward, in order to continue to perform the responsibility that God has given to us as members of the legal profession towards the leadership that this country dearly deserves. So I say to all of them, congratulations. And we expect that notwithstanding the result of this election, that the lofty ideas that they have for this association, we will still sit down, talk about them, think about them, isolate all the issues that are very important for the promotion of the well-being, the welfare, and the promotion of the responsibility of this association, so that together we would continue to build the Nigerian Bar Association that will discharge its primary functions to this society and its members effectively and efficiently. So I extend that hand of fellowship to Mr. J.K. Gazama and Jonathan Bunu Taidi. And request of them to come, let us put our hands on this plow and together cultivate this very fertile soil of the Nigerian Bar Association. And I say this similarly on behalf of my colleagues that have had to contest this election with other members of the association. The results have come out. We've seen your manifestos. You have wonderful ideas in those manifestos. It only happened that in an election, one person has to emerge the winner. We want to sit with each and every one of you. Look at what you have, wonderful ideas that you have in those documents, so that we can distill those things that all of us would agree as a body, corporately, to move this association forward. And I say to you also, congratulations, because even though this is how the result has turned out, you still remain an important and integral part of this association. And we know your contributions would help a great deal in moving this association forward and repositioning this association to perform its primary responsibility. Now, I cannot also conclude my remarks without mentioning my dear wife. And my entire family. Like I said of the president, and at this point, I also recognize the gallant and majestic entrance of, permit me, Mr. President, to say my first vice president. The first one. Vices. My sister, Linda Bala. And I say to you, congratulations. And you're welcome. So my wife, beautiful wife, very supportive wife, that has brought balance and equilibrium in my life. But for her support, I wouldn't have been here. At every point when I returned home and I wake up in the morning to tell her that I'm heading to Port Harcourt, I'm heading to Lagos, all she said was, "The Lord be with you." And she kept praying for me. I thank you, Zainab Mekyo, for that support that you have brought to my life. For my children, Israel, Princess Sarah, King David, and Queen Esther, I thank you very much. They remind me all the time, for those of them that have handheld devices, of how they observed my movement. When I went for the debate, my daughter who was in school actually sent me a message to say, "Daddy, I'm waiting to hear how the debate would turn out. And I sent a message to her back to say, this has made my day, and this would encourage me. She said, I'm proud of you, Daddy. Today, I've been declared the president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association because of your support and what my family has done in throwing their weight behind this project. And as I say thank you to each and every one of you, I also say thank you to members of my family. And let me at this point also acknowledge my colleagues in the office, my partners in the office. They said to me, Oga Yakubu, please go. We will take care of the business of the office. Because I said to them, this is not a business that you would do half-heartedly. I'm going to take leave of the things that I do in this office. I know you are able to do it, but give me the assurance that you won't be calling me back to do anything for the period that I am committed to serve the Nigerian Bar Association. And they said yes. And I've seen through this period of the campaign what you have done, and I have no doubt in my mind that the office would not miss me during that period, because you are more than able to deliver on the responsibility that our clients demand of us of that office, while I get the comfort to go on and do what the Nigerian Bar Association expects of me, what the members of this great association expect of me to do in leading us together to achieve the purpose, one of the purpose of the Nigerian Bar Association. And I thank you so very much. Usually the best is reserved for the last. And I turn to you, sir, and your wonderful members of the ECNBA. You have done us proud with your wonderful team. Actually, what has happened today, or let me say through the process of the election, culminating to the declaration of results today, is just an example of what the Nigerian Bar Association represents to the entire country. The provision of leadership. We know that the Nigerian state is living in perilous times. We have our elections in 2023. Because of the security situations that we even have in this country. The question is, should we continue to hold elections the way we do? With this leadership, the exemplary leadership that the Nigerian Bar Association has offered to the Nigerian state, if people would be killed the way we saw in Owo and the other instances that we have experienced in this country, when they have gone to worship God, shouldn't we be concerned about an election process where we would have to bring out all the electorate to a particular point in order to cast their vote? Is it not high time that we leverage on technology to deliver on the election needs of this nation? And the Nigerian Bar Association, with what you have done, has provided that leadership in this respect. And we thank you as we call upon the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and particularly Professor Yakubu, who is also my namesake, to come and understudy this committee led by you, sir, and know how we can leverage on technology in order to deliver on the election needs of the Nigerian state. That is how proud you have made us. You have given us a free, fair, transparent, and credible election. That is what Nigerians have been asking for. And that is what you have done. And this is a template for the Nigerian state to come and copy, implement, and deliver on all the democratic dividends that the Nigerian state expect of those that we have given responsibility to steer the affairs of this nation. And like I said earlier, this is not a coincidence that it is happening in this building. This also is an aspect of the promotion of the rule of law and our responsibility to bring leadership to the Nigerian state. So I thank you on behalf of all those that have been elected to serve in the offices of the Nigerian Bar Association for a wonderful job that you have done. We remain very, very proud of you. Thank you, Basil. Thank you, Mabel. Thank you, Professor Akintunde, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you, because it actually took a professorial touch, maybe by reason of affinity with Professor Chidi Odinkalu. And we are so proud of what you have done. And we are so proud of what you have done. Aisha, Ado, we thank you so much for that contribution. The finesse that you brought to the entire process is one that we will never forget, Prof. And we thank you for the sacrifices that each and every one of you have made in order to bring us to this place. So we thank you. And I say again, gentlemen, colleagues, we have made a pledge to serve this country, to serve our association. We will not renege. We will not renege. We are not those that draw back to perdition. We will not. We will charge ahead, speak truth to power, represent the Nigerian state, and we will do what we have to do in order to bear out that responsibility that we are called to discharge by the privilege of being lawyers. And let me end my remarks by saying that when we speak this way, it is not because we are being arrogant. We are simply telling everyone that this is who we are. You remember the lion who will roar in the jungle and say, no matter the economy of the jungle, I will not eat grass, and it is not pride. That is who I am. So we say to everyone that this is no pride. We are called to take leadership. We recognize the place of all other professionals to support us as we turn the fortunes of this country around for our good. I thank you very much. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. YC Mikiel, SCN, President-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association. As you all know, we still have a president, the indefatigable Mr. Olumide Akpata. I will now invite him to make his remarks. Mr. President.
You know, I'm not as tall as the president-elect. But, so which camera are we using? Is this one? Because my problem is that if I stand here, I will conceal the entire electoral committee. So those who are conducting, can I stand there? Does that work? Okay, cameraman, can I stand there? Please, thank you. I am proud, and I have every reason to be, and we all have every reason to be. My dear colleagues, the first thing when we were running our campaign, we said we recognize our responsibility as an association to society. But we said that if our own members do not believe in the association, we have no business going out to even begin to try to intervene in the affairs of society. And you all know that at 2020, we are at the lowest ebb as far as member interest was concerned. What does the MBA do for me? So, but when we watched the tally go up yesterday, and we heard that 35,000 people or thereabout, members of this association, Haba, members of this association, we should be proud. We should be proud. Our own members, like Professor Dinkalu said to me, 59% of the electorate. First and foremost, we blew away everybody, the rest of the country watching us, when they heard that almost 60,000 of our members were eligible to vote. We had 35,000 of our people come out. 35,000. The MBA is back. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Oh, 38,000 of our members. Gentlemen, there is no way any leader can propose to intervene in the affairs of this nation with 35,000 people minimum behind him, without 38,000, and not make an impact. That's the whole essence. That was what we were trying to achieve. Bringing the MBA back to the reckoning of our society. Letting the world know that we know who we are. We know the place we occupy. As the president-elect said, it's just who we are. We know who we are. It's an almost divine mandate given to members of the legal profession to rescue any society within which they operate, to ensure that we save us from ourselves. But where we had a situation where we couldn't even respect ourselves, the members themselves were not even interested. There was work to be done. And thank God that work is in progress. If 38,000 came out to exercise their franchise, that tells you that 38,000 at the minimum are interested in what's going on here. 38,000, if indeed we carry them along, the association will make the desired impact. Extremely proud, extremely proud. I think for me, the high point yesterday, apart from when I saw the numbers, was when, as I said to the chairman, one of the governors, 7 governors in our country today, or pretty much the largest state, called me and said they're observing the elections. That when it's over, he will need to see me to come and learn about the technology and the processes that we've deployed. Gentlemen, for me, you know, that's when they say, they call it the aha moment. For me, I said, yes, the MBA is leading the way. It's for all of us. It's for all of us. Yesterday, we monitored the Osun elections. We're not too busy. We deployed 11 of our members. There were no hotels in Osogbo. We got one of our senior advocates who is from that state, gave us accommodation in his country home. We had a bus, took them, they went to the local governments in Osun, and they participated in the town hall meeting conducted by Professor Yakubu. And he told them, he told the world, spoke to our representative, Mr. Oguntoye, please thank the president of the MBA. I met with him on so day. We are glad for the collaboration. We know you are holding your elections today. We are watching, and we know we have a lot to learn. That's what he told the world yesterday at his press conference, from your elections. I said, okay, we are making the impact. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, this is not my valedictory speech, August 26th. No, Friday 26th morning, 11 a.m. Come on, listen. However, the next issue is, as our president-elect has alluded to, those who conducted the process. You will remember when I was sworn in, when we were sworn in August, 28th of August, first committee we set up was the Electoral Reform and Audit Committee. It is no accident that the chairman of that committee, when he made his recommendation, we said, no, recommendation, come and implement. And I promised him, I said, all that you have recommended, we will use the instrumentality of this office to give it constitutional backing. We were deliberate about, if you see the provisions of our constitution regarding elections, not yet perfect, still in need of some work, we were deliberate about it. And only just yesterday, chairman reminded me when I was not too happy about one thing, he said, Constitution, we have to abide by the words. And I said, I agree. Gentlemen, in selecting the ECNBA, it was clear in my mind. Ask them. We were not talking. I wasn't calling them. There was only one point I called. I said, okay, at least, please just tell me what you are doing. So when they ask me questions on the road, I can answer intelligently. I said, no. I selected persons who I knew were above reproach. That I would not have any reason. I would not be able to pick up my phone to teleguide. And none of my team would. Find out from them. The process can work, should be allowed to work. So yesterday, when some candidates for whom things were not going so well, in the usual tradition of MBA, began, hear me out, began to call me. Mr. President, do something. I said, do it. You can't blame them. It's in the heat of the moment. They are agitated. They are human beings. But I said, the MBA that we have today, the president can do nothing. I say, I'm watching the thing. You can see work. Try. It can still happen. I said, try. It can still happen. But that for me to do anything, impossible. There are those who called us to say, after call the electoral appeals panel, those process, tell them what to do. How can? When we want to lead, we want to show the country how things should be done, then we'll now frustrate our own processes? No, never. Chairman of the committee, Fumi Roberts, I cannot call Fumi Roberts and say, do this or do that. Are you akin to the GD? It's never going to happen. So that when we speak to the country, we say our own processes, we do not tamper with it. You should not tamper with yours. Substitution of candidates after primaries. We're watching INEC. We say, with the look now. If you try them, some felt, our brother Mike Igini felt we did not speak up. I said, Mike, no, wait. Let's see. And indeed, and we must applaud Mike. One-man army. I have known Mike Igini since University of Benin. He will walk the talk. He doesn't care. One-man army. Proud of him. He's a member of this organization. He took on everybody. You cannot substitute after primaries have been held and conducted and supervised by the INEC. The process of substitution is clear. So whether it be Lawan, whether it be Fabio or whoever, I heard yesterday that there are still some people below the radar substitution. We said, no, I've told the Public Interest Litigation Committee, headed by Dr. McQueen, SAN, go to court next week. If indeed there's any candidate who was substituted, we'll go after them. And when we do that, they're not going to come and tell us what of your own election. There is one particular candidate in this election, we all know how close I am to that candidate. I still have to go and see him after this. But for me, there is a silver lining in every dark cloud. The loss of that particular candidate, I think, is the loudest confirmation to everybody that there's no way you could have tampered with this process. And I spoke to him yesterday. I said, pick up your phone, call your opponents, greet him, congratulate him, pledge your support for him. That is, we're leading by example here. And pick yourself up, dust yourself up, and move on. That's exactly how we do it. We move. I have spoken about our association and our members and the fact that we are back. Spoken about the process. I've spoken about those who conducted the process. We owe you a debt of gratitude, gentlemen and ladies. We will talk that matter later. We owe you a debt of gratitude. And now I will speak about those who have been elected. Like I said, you will hear from me on the 26th of August. But all I can say is that it's all about building blocks. People say third term, second term, 2 years are enough. If you really mean well, I'm glad my brother, the president-elect, has told YC Mekel and co that see you later, 2 years time. I'm glad. That's the model that worked for me. I recognize that it may not work for everybody. Not everybody has a law firm that they can walk away from, which is why incoming executive, we need to continue to build structures so that the man who may not be able to leave his firm will meet an association that is working even with minimal input. It's about building blocks. I look back and I say, if each one of us who have been privileged to occupy the saddle or mount the saddle of leadership did our own bit, cycle after cycle, we would have found an association that is formidable. But no time for recrimination, no time for looking back. We wipe the slate clean. We have started. You mentioned this building. Yes. This idea, fantastic idea of our predecessors, but somebody needed to bring it to life. And there's so much more to be done. You have 24 months. The privilege of what you have is that my team and I, my colleagues and I think have been able to put in place a structure where you can just plug and play so that you can make maximum use of the 24 months. There's no 25th month. It's the 24 months within which time you can make massive difference. So I'm not done yet. Till that 26th of August, we have so many boxes we still need to tick. And we are going to sort it out so that when we present the association to you on the 26th, you're going to have money in the bank. You're going to have a debt-free association. You're going to have structures in place. You're going to have copious handover notes so that you know that you are taking off from this point and you are moving on. There will be no need to start looking back to ask questions. And we remain available. We remain available. Because for us, it wasn't just to wear a cap. It wasn't meant to be a chieftaincy title. So we're not going to be strutting around and saying past president. And then no, you need us, anything that needs to be done, any questions that need to be asked, because it is our association. I said to some, I said it would take about three cycles. By the time we get to elections in 2026, I think that is when we'll be able to say we have really revived the Nigerian Bar Association. So you have more building work to do. so that by the time we are conducting the elections in 2026 and we have a new leadership, full cycle, we know that the MBA is really, really solid. So I wish you well, and I thank you all, and we must be proud. Members of the Nigerian Bar Association, we must be proud. Everywhere you go, please hold your head high. Please remember that we are building a brand, and you are a representative of that brand. Please hold your head high. We have an association we can be proud of. Everywhere you go, represent. Represent. Tell them how it should be done, because we are doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olumide Akpata, President, Nigerian Bar Association. Another round of applause for him, please. At this juncture, please be seated. At this juncture, what we would like to do, or what I would like to do, is to say thank you. Thank you first to the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olumide Akpata, the members of the executive of the Nigerian Bar Association, the members of the National Executive Commission of the Nigerian Bar Association or Council, National Executive Council of the Nigerian Bar Association, for appointing us, ratifying our appointment as members of the Electoral Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association to conduct this election. I also want to thank all the candidates and all their supporters, and most importantly, all the eligible voters for turning out in their thousands to exercise their franchise. Thank you very much. I now want to turn to the committee. Like I have always said, I was blessed as chairman with the members that were appointed to serve with me in this committee. They bring all forms of expertise, all forms of professionalism, efficiency, wisdom into the work of the committee. I would like to start from my extreme right with Mr. Basil Udotai. Apart from being a member of the committee, he served as our technical advisor within the committee. As you all know, he's a tech lawyer. To my immediate right, the indefatigable secretary of the committee, Mrs. Mabel Ebeke. She is a performing secretary. Sleepless nights, very professional, very thorough, detailed, ready to work at any time of the day. You call her 2 a.m., 3 a.m., she will answer you, she will reply you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. We as a committee, on behalf of our members, my members, we are grateful to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Even when she broke down, she was still working. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mabel. We appreciate you, thank you. To my immediate left, Hajia Aisha Ado Abdullahi, former National Treasurer. She brought to bear in the committee our financial expertise. Hajia that you see here is a tough negotiator. When we got our office for 1 million naira, fully furnished,
6 months, Abba. Know that you are talking to a tough negotiator. And to my extreme left, our one and only, Professor Chidi Odikalo. He says it as it is. No romancing, no kissing, no romancing. He will give it to you as it is. All of them have carried their weight. They have contributed immensely to the work of the committee. I cannot end this thank you by not thanking our technical support consultant. Mr. Akin Wilire, please stand up for recognition. Please give him a round of applause. He's of Finesse Technologies Integrated. I can tell you that this man worked tirelessly. Many times, in fact, at a point, I thought I was a nuisance to him because of the pressure I put him under to ensure that we had accurate data. He had to clean up the data, and it was an enormous task, and he was up to the task. Our committee thanks you very much for all your service, and your team too. Thank you very much. I also want to use this opportunity to thank our ICT provider. INITS, Mr. Femi Taiwo. I think they are online. Femi Taiwo, Ronke Taiwo, Desmond, Fina, Christy. Thank you so much. We put them under immense pressure, and they delivered. We also want to thank election body, the owners of the platform that we used, Dave. We worked hand in hand with them, and they delivered. In fact, we talked about the certification. In the middle of the night, they were working and they gave us the certification. We even thought of calling you back because we put them under pressure for the certification. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank our ad hoc staff because we couldn't have done it alone. In our various offices, we commandeered our staff to work for us. And we also had ad hoc staff blessing our staff, our permanent staff, ECNBA, because we are an independent body. The president has assured that ECNBA will have institutional memory, because all we are doing now, we have to continue to build. Just like he has talked about building, we must continue to build. Everything we have learned from this exercise, we must have institutional memory so that the next ECNBA will learn, and it will be plug and play. So that the next election we are guaranteed is better than this. The turnout is better than this. Data is much more accurate than this. So I recognize our ad hoc staff. I can see Kehinde Oyebade there, Bolade, Ifi, Nifemi, Blessing. All of you, thank you. I'm also thank our technical person, Tony, who has worked tirelessly on the debate. I'm sure we all love what we saw at the debates. Tony was the one that assisted us with that. And also throughout this election, the situation room, as well as this press briefing. Thank you, Tony. We will still ask for a discount on that final price. I'm saying it for the whole world to hear, so you will not. Thank you very much. So once again, my committee members, Once again, my committee members, I thank you. I know that sometimes it was as if I was a slave driver. I thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. The agents, my paddies, we were here together rocking. We were here rocking. And we were here, you know, some nice things were flowing, some nice juices were also flowing. I thank all of you for your cooperation to make the Situation Room an excellent environment. Thank you so much. And thank you for the way you conducted yourselves. There was no acrimony, no rancor in the Situation Room. We all looked at the screen and we all accepted the outcome. Thank you very, very, very much. Once again, I thank Mr. President for the opportunity that for us to serve the association in this capacity. We very much appreciate all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you once again. Members of the press, we also thank you. Without you, nobody will know about what we are doing. Thank you very much. Theodora, thank you so much. And the publicity teams, even in MBA, that were helping us to blast some of the information we wanted to push out there. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Yes, we have arrangements for breakfast, refreshments outside. So let us let us enjoy the breakfast and continue enjoyment. Thank you very much.
Okay. We just wanted to, 1 minute, please. Sorry. On behalf of the members of the committee, I have the privilege and the honor to thank our wonderful, excellent chair, the Leonard Silk, we like to call him. It was easy for us to follow his leadership. He kept insisting that we must do only the very, very best till the last minute. Thank you, sir, for the leadership that you provided. Without you, we don't think we would have had all of this success. Thank you very much, sir.
So you found money to give us breakfast. Thank you. Oh, it didn't come from your budget.